My Weird School Special, Book Number 9. The Leprechaun is Finally Gone. Written by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Pellot. Chapter 3. Boycotts and Girlcotts. Finally, it was March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. My mom found a green t-shirt in the back of my closet for me to wear. When I got to school, it was like the whole world had turned green. Emily was wearing her big sister's green Girl Scout uniform and green ribbons in her hair. Alexia had painted her toenails and fingernails green. Neil dyed his hair green. Ryan and his mom walked their dog to school with him, and the dog was green. "What's wrong with your dog?" I asked Ryan. "We dyed him," he told me. "What? Who dyes a dog?" "Why did you dye your dog?" I asked. "She's an Irish setter," Ryan explained. "That's just weird." Mrs. Patty greeted everybody on the front steps. She was holding Jake the snake in her basket, and she was dressed head to toe in green. Of course, she even wore a silly-looking green hat that had a buckle on it. Why do people have buckles on their hats? I can understand a buckle on your pants. It holds up your pants. I can understand a buckle on your shoes. It holds your shoes together. I guess a buckle on your hat holds your brain together. Mr. Klutz was wearing a green shirt with the words, "Kiss me, I'm Irish," on it. "I didn't know you were Irish, Mr. Klutz," I said to him. "Everybody is Irish today," he replied. "You can call me Mr. O'Klutz, or do you think that's going overboard?" "Huh? What do boats have to do with St. Patrick's Day?" Finally, the bell rang and we went inside. We pringled up and walked 1,100 miles to Mr. Cooper's class. He thinks he's a superhero. He always wears a cape. But on this day, of course, it was a green cape. And he told us we should call him Mr. O. Cooper. "Top of the morning, everyone," Mr. Cooper said cheerfully. "Let's take attendance. Ryan?" "Here," said Ryan. "Michael?" "Here," said Michael. "AJ?" "Not here," I said. "Just kidding, I'm here." I don't get it. What's the point of taking attendance? If we weren't here, we wouldn't be able to say here. "Alexia?" "Here," said Alexia. "Neil?" "Present," said Neil. Some joker always say present. What's up with that? "Andrea?" said Mr. O. Cooper. Nobody said anything. I turned around. Andrea wasn't in her seat. "Andrea?" Mr. O. Cooper repeated. "Andrea?" Andrea was absent. What? Andrea is never absent. Andrea must be sick today," said Mr. O. Cooper. "No, she isn't," said Emily. "Andrea called me this morning. She told me she doesn't approve of the way the school is celebrating St. Patrick's Day, so she isn't coming in today." "Wow, Andrea's boycotting school?" Neil said. "No, she's girl-cotting school," I said. "There's no such thing as girl-cotting," said Michael. "Girl-cot isn't a word." "It should be," said Ryan. "How come girls are allowed to boycott, but boys aren't allowed to girl-cot? It's not fair." "How come boys get a word and girls don't?" said Alexia. "That's not fair either." "Yeah," agreed Emily. We went on like that for a while. arguing about boycotts and girl cots. I was trying to remember the last time Andrea missed school. I think it was on Take Your Daughter to Work Day. That was the greatest day of my life because Andrea wasn't around to bug me. Andrea must be pretty mad about St. Patrick's Day, I said. Ooh, said Ryan. You miss Andrea. You must be in love with her. When are you and Andrea gonna get married? Asked Michael. If those guys weren't my best friends, I would hate them. Chapter 4. Good luck. After we finished arguing, we pledged the allegiance and did word of the day. The word of the day was shamrock. A shamrock is a 4-leaf clover that only has 3 leaves. If you ask me, it should be called a 3-leaf clover. Mr. L. Cooper told us the shamrock is the national flower and the emblem of Ireland. Should we turn to page 23 in our math books? Asked Emily. No, said Mr. O. Cooper. We're not going to do math today. Yay, I hate math. Instead, we're going to learn about Ireland, said Mr. O. Cooper. Boo! Mr. O. Cooper went to the whiteboard and started drawing pictures of shamrocks. If 4 of us each had 4 shamrocks, he said, how many shamrocks would we have altogether? 16, shouted Michael, because 4 times 4 is 16. Very good, Michael, said Mr. O. Cooper. Now try this one. There are about 5 million Irish people living in Ireland. There are about 32 million Irish people living in the United States. How many more Irish people live in the United States than live in Ireland? We all thought that over for a while. 27 million, shouted Neil. Correct, said Mr. O. Cooper. Hey, wait a minute, I shouted. You said we weren't going to do math today. This sounds a lot like a math lesson to me. No, don't be silly, said Mr. O. Cooper. We're not learning math, we're learning about Ireland. Mr. Cooper taught us a bunch of other stuff about Ireland, and it all involved addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Not fair. When he was done, you'll never believe who came through the door. Nobody. You can't come through a door. Doors are made of wood. I thought we went over that in Chapter 1. But you'll never believe who came through the doorway. It was our music teacher, Mr. Loring. He said we should call him Mr. O. Loring on St. Patrick's Day, and he started singing a song. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. That's a weird song. If your pipes are calling, that means somebody must be stuck in your pipes. You need to call a plumber right away. Follow me, everybody, said Mr. O. Loring. Where are we going? Alexia asked. You'll find out, Mr. O. Loring replied. He led us down the hall and out the back door to the playground. Beyond the blacktop is a big grassy area where we play soccer and stuff. It's time for our 4-leaf clover hunt, said Mr. O. Loring. Yay, we all shouted. Mr. O. Loring told us that each leaf of a 4-leaf clover has a meaning: hope, faith, love, and luck. He said 4-leaf clovers are really rare. If we found one, he said, it would bring us good luck for the rest of the day. We got down on our hands and knees and looked out for 4-leaf clovers. Some of the teachers came out to help. Mr. O. Mackey, Miss O. Small, and Mrs. O. Yonkers. Even Mrs. Patty was out there with Jake the Snake in a basket. Would you like to touch Jake the Snake? She asked us. We already touched him, I reminded her. We're looking for 4-leaf clovers now. We searched for 1,100 minutes. There were a lot of clovers with 3 leaves, but we couldn't find any 4-leaf clovers. That's when I got the greatest idea in the history of the world. "Hey, Ryan," I whispered, "why don't we just tear one of the leaves in half so it looks like a 4-leaf clover?" "That would be cheating, AJ," Ryan whispered back. "If you cheat, you'll have bad luck for the rest of the day." "What? No way. What does Ryan know about 4-leaf clovers? He's not even Irish." I plucked a 3-leaf clover from the grass and carefully tore one of the leaves so it looked just like a 4-leaf clover. "Shh," I told Ryan. "Don't tell anybody." "You're pathetic, man," Ryan said. "I found one," I shouted. "I found a 4-leaf clover." Everybody came running over and gathered around to see my 4-leaf clover. "Wow," said Mr. O'Loring. "Nice work, AJ. That means you're going to have good luck for the rest of the day." "Maybe I'll catch a leprechaun," I said, "and he'll give me his pot of gold at the end of a rainbow." "Huh, I should get the Nobel Prize for coming up with that idea. That's a prize they give out to people who don't have bells." Ryan looked at me and shook his head. Everybody else was excited about my 4-leaf clover, and they all got back on their hands and knees so they could find one too. That's when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. While everybody was staring at the grass, I noticed somebody in the distance running near the back of the school. I only saw him for a second. It looked like a little man. He was dressed in green with a green hat. "Hey, look!" I shouted. "Where?" Neil asked. "Over there," I shouted, pointing at the door to the gym. The little man pulled open the door and ran into the school. "Who was that?" asked Alexia. Michael said, "I think it was a leprechaun."